Okay, good evening, children. I hope all of you can hear me. All right. So, today we are going to start a new poem, and that is Go and Catch a Falling Star by John Donne. All right, I've prepared a slide, I've prepared a presentation for you guys. Let me share my screen first. Yes, I hope you can see my screen as well. Okay. Yes, Go and Catch a Falling Star by John Donne. So, before stepping into the poem, I would like to give you a brief introduction about the poet, John Donne. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so John Donne was born in London, 1572, and as you see in the picture, um, he passed away in 1631. Okay, so he was born into a Roman Catholic family when the practice of that religion was illegal in England, which means they were not they were prohibited, they were not permitted to uh, practice the religion, Roman Catholic religion at that time. Okay, where in England. Okay, and when talking about his poetry, all right, his poetry was a poetry of transition. What does that mean? What does that mean? He, like, while now it's explained in the last point, while the poets following the Petrarchan tradition of love poetry made the woman a heroine and a goddess worthy of love and admiration, John Donne, along with the other metaphysical poets, made fun of the weaknesses and the fickleness of women, which is, uh, he did not follow the other poets. Uh, he went on his own path. Do you get it? He didn't follow the other poets. Okay, he formed a different way of poetry and followed his own poetry, which is he did not love when the other poets admired the women. What did John Donne do? He made fun of the weaknesses and what do you call? He made fun of the weaknesses of women. Okay, you maybe you have read the poem by now. So when you read the poem, you can understand this poet does not, like, in any way, this poet does not make he does not admire um women. Okay, he always criticizes. Okay, he criticizes women. All right. Yes. So if we now metaphysical poetry, when we talk about this poem, metaphysical poetry is actually a very important concept. Okay. Now, when the term metaphysics is concerned, meta means beyond and physics means physical nature. So when we put all of that together, metaphysical poetry means poetry that goes beyond the physical world of the senses and explores the spiritual world. Okay, now here, John Donne was the pioneer and founder of the metaphysical school of poetry. He was the poet to start this metaphysical poetry. Okay, to criticize women, to criticize the weaknesses of women through poetry. Okay, and metaphysical poetry began early in the Jacobean age, in the last age of Shakespeare. Okay, and there are some other poets who followed John Donne. For example, Abraham Coley, Henry Vaughan, Richard Crashaw, Andrew Marvell, George Herbert, Robert Herrick, and so on. Okay, by now I've sent you a WhatsApp message to the group mentioning all of those names. Okay, so if you have time, if you really want, you can search on the internet. You can search those names on the internet and find more details about them. Okay, so you can get to know more about the poets who followed John Donne with this concept, metaphysical poetry. Okay, so we can go on to the characteristics of metaphysical poetry, which are a dramatic manner. Okay, actually it is very dramatic. Okay, we can see everything, we can witness everything when we read the poem. Okay, and direct tone of speech. This is not indirect, this is direct. කෙලින්ම කියනවා වගේ tone එකක් තියෙන්නේ. So it's direct. And then use of conceits. What is a conceit? A metaphor that compares two very unlikely things in a clever manner. Okay, I'll explain this concept of conceits when we go through the poem. Okay, and wits, usage of wits. What is wits? Yes, a form of intelligent humor. Okay, that also will be further explained when we go through the poem. All right, I've got a question. Okay, yes, I've got a question saying, I've got a message saying to explain conceits. Yeah, of course. Um, I'll give, okay. All right, you want a point. Okay, fine. Okay, so right, a conceit is a kind of metaphor, is a kind of metaphor that compares two very unlike things, two very unlike things in a surprising, comma, clever and dramatic way. Clever and dramatic way. All right, so these conceits are actually extended metaphors. Metaphors mane mein, but metaphors that are extended. Okay, and then I have not mentioned some here. Okay, uh, we can also take mixture of sensual and spiritual experience as well. Okay, if you want, you can write. All right, mixture of sensual and spiritual experience. And then you've got usage of satire and irony. Okay, the poem is very ironical. Okay, and it's also lyrical and musical. You can see that when we actually look at the topic. Okay, look at the topic of the poem, which is, you have the word song there. Okay, song colon go and catch a falling star. So when reading the title of the poem, you can see that it's actually very musical and very lyrical. Okay, and then you also have images um, related to geography, mythology, science, mathematics, astronomy. Okay, so it's actually like visual imagery related to all of those subjects. Okay, they are used in the poem. And also you can also use you can also write the usage of colloquial speech under this. Okay, the usage of colloquial speech. All right, and then when we talk about the title of the poem, go and catch a falling star. Going behind a falling star and trying to catch it is almost an impossible task to even think of. Okay, so John Donne gives out the idea of impossibility in the title itself. So it is very obvious, right? Like go and catch a falling star. යන්න ගිහින් වැටෙන තරුවක් අල්ලන්න. Okay, so it's kind of an impossible thing to do. ඒ impossibility කියන දේම ඒ poet title එකකින් අපිට he gives out the idea. Okay, so the title is very obvious of the impossibility which is carried throughout the poem. Okay, මුළු poem එක පුරාවටම කියන්නේ මේ impossibilities ගැන. Okay, so yes. And then analysis of stanzas. Let's go into the stanzas. Okay. Yes, how many stanzas are there in the poem? How many stanzas? 3 stanzas. Okay. Yes, let's go into stanza number 1. Let's read it. Read with me. Go and catch a falling star. Get with child a mandrake root. Tell me where all past years are, or who clefts the devil's foot. Teach me to hear mermaids singing, or to keep off envy's stinging, and find what wind serves to advance an honest mind. Okay, so here I'll give you the meanings of the hard words. Okay, so here go and catch a falling star. Falling star is a meteor. Okay, or a shooting star. A meteor or a shooting star. All right, you can write it. Okay, meteor or a shooting star. And then mandrake root, line number 2. Get with child a mandrake root. It is actually, I have given you a picture here. It is a picture of a mandrake root. Okay, so if I give you a definition of it, it is a short-stemmed European plant. Okay, it is some kind of a human form plant. Like you see, it's something like a man. Here you see the face, you see 2 hands and 2 legs. It is some kind of a man. You see some kind of a man here. Yes, so it is actually a European plant. It is a short-stemmed European plant. All right, and then you have yes, cleft. What is cleft? Divided. Okay, split or divided. That's in line number 4. Or who clefts the devil's foot. All right. And then mermaid, you know mermaid, line number 5, mermaid. It is a, a sea creature. Okay. Head is of a woman, and then tail is of a fish. Okay, I've given you a picture of a mermaid as well here. All right. And line number 6, envy is jealousy. Jealousy. And then in the same line, stinging is pricking, like, pricking. Okay. And then, yes, that's it in this, what do you call, stanza. All right. Then let's go into the explanation of the stanza. The poem begins with the speaker ordering the imaginary young man or the listener, reader, to complete several elusive or impossible tasks, both mythical and real.